Hello, I'm Brett Knowles from PM Squared Consulting. Since we began this conversation about building team engagement through the team-based scorecard, we've been inundated with requests about how to actually go and build these. Now, the good news is it's incredibly simple. Most organizations already have existing strategies, role clarity models, etc., and we can leverage off of those. So this is a methodology that we found effective. And to help people who've been asking us to assist in their projects, we've decided to offer a fixed fee price of doing this for $35,000. That includes our expenses, literally anywhere in the world. This offer until the end of June 2015 allows you to get up and running for that team in just 4 days. Let's talk about what that looks like. I'm going to describe these in two major activities: what's a phase of work that needs to get done and what gets delivered. So in phase one, you'll need to capture your strategy, goals, and targets. So out of that will come things like a strategy map, the weightings, the specific goals that you need to achieve by quarter to achieve those, and reasonable targets. The second day's activity is about linkage and roles. In there, we should understand how your core processes link to strategy, how your core projects or initiatives link to strategy, and then assign teams, and within those teams, their roles and responsibilities to achieve those goals. Day 3 is preparation. During that day, we should be able to set up the software, deliver the training that's needed, and prepare the participants for the first performance meeting. Day 4, launch. In that day, we're going to be running that pilot first performance meeting, and then afterwards agreeing on what the next steps are to roll this out across the organization. And again, typically we can get this done in a 4-day workshop. Let's look at each day in a little bit more detail. Day 1. The goal of day 1 is to capture the existing strategy and leadership's views about strategic priorities. Then we need to define the goals, the activities that are required to achieve that strategy, and set smart performance targets. This is typically done by the senior leadership team and or their designates. It takes about a day. Out of there will come your strategy map. In this example, using the balanced scorecard with the 4 perspectives showing the objectives and their weighting. Then we need to identify what are the goals that need to get done, and typically what gets done quarter by quarter. And then lastly, what are the specific performance targets that we need within those goals to achieve that strategic objectives. Day 2. Day 2, the goal here is to understand how specific processes and projects contribute to strategic success, and then assign responsibility to the teams. This is not done by the leadership team, but typically their direct reports, the cross-functional team for that area. We should be able to list the strategic objectives down the left, the core processes across the top, and understand how each process impacts the success of those prioritized objectives. Likewise, what are the initiatives or projects you have, and how do they link to those gaps? Finally, we need to determine what teams are necessary, both by process or by project, and what their responsibilities are, performance measures, responsibilities, so forth. The next chunk of work is about preparing the organization for the system. We have to obviously load the software and train the participants, and then get ready for that first meeting. Again, it's typically the cross-functional team that's participating in this. It takes about 1 day. So the software, using something like My Objectives, is fairly straightforward based on the work that we've done. Then we'll train the organization on how to use the software, both to input and maintain. And then at this point, we'll be able to begin with the existing data, show how the team has been performing historically up to this point against those objectives and goals. And so we now need to work with the participants to get them ready for tomorrow's meeting. Finally, the launch session. In the launch session, we're going to run that first meeting. And my team's going to be sitting with you to coach you through the meeting to make sure that we have the right discussions and behaviors and actions. At the end of that meeting, we'll then agree on the next steps for rolling this out in a wider environment. So the first performance meeting is quite exciting. There we begin to discuss how we're doing strategically and how the teams have contributed to that success. And then after that, we can figure out what are the steps to move forward. Again, this is a straightforward process, leveraging off of your existing structures and capabilities.